Ever met someone who always gets what they want by puppeting the people closest to them? Have you ever felt invisible, like you could scream and no one would hear you? What happens when the world decides who you should be before you even get a say? Tony Stoneham, Cassie and Michelle. Ever met someone who always gets what they want by puppeting the people closest to them? That's a manipulator. That's Tony Stoneham. Skins episode 1 wasted no time showing it. You see it in the first 10 minutes of the episode. Today we're talking about how Skins portrays manipulation through Tony's character and what we can learn from it. We open season 1, episode 1 with Tony, and you immediately get the vibe that he's this overconfident, womanizing teenage boy, from his bed sheets to his Norman Bates-esque morning routine to spying on the neighbor, almost like he's allowed to. He's charismatic, confident, and controlling. He's the guy that makes you think you're making your own choices, when in reality, he's the one pulling the strings. Examples of Tony's manipulation in the episode: Sid's crush on Michelle. So Tony knows Sid is in love with Michelle, and instead of helping him, he keeps him on a leash on the outskirts of their relationship, making him watch while they show affection. He puts Sid in a dangerous and inappropriate situation for his benefit. He makes Sid think that the only way he can get with a girl is through drug-induced SA. And what makes it worse is he's obsessed with Sid losing his virginity because he sees it as a reflection of himself. You see his manipulation also in how he controls Michelle. He makes her jump through hoops to get his attention. He's constantly playing mind games, just not outright toxic, but enough to keep Michelle always proving herself to him. So what are the real life takeaways? Signs of manipulation in people. They will guilt trip you. They will make you feel like you owe them something. They will twist situations to always be in their favor. How do you deal with them? You call them out on their inconsistencies. You set clear boundaries. You don't engage with their power plays. The best way to beat a manipulator is to stop playing the game. Watching Skins as a teen, I thought Tony was just cool and cute and popular, you know, that guy. And as an adult, I was triggered by all the red flags. What do you think? Have you ever dealt with someone like Tony? What do you think of his character? Have you ever felt invisible, like you could scream and no one would hear you? That's Cassie's world, always performing, always overlooked. Today we'll be talking about how Skins shines a light on ED with Cassie's character. Trigger warning. This episode gives us a look at Cassie's struggles with mental health and disordered eating. So if that's something that you struggle with, please skip this episode. Season 1, episode 2 introduces us to Cassie Ainsworth, one of the most complex characters in Skins, in my opinion. While everyone around her is wrapped up in their own chaos, Cassie is silently screaming for help. This episode highlights how easy it is for people to fall through the cracks when no one is paying attention. You see that through Cassie's ability to hide her struggles, even though at first look, she has a closeness with her family. The main theme here is the struggle of being seen, the dangers of masking pain, and the impact of neglect. Let's look at Cassie's world and the 3 layers of her invisibility: her mental health and eating disorder, the hidden battle. Cassie has a system of pushing around food on her plate, saying the right words and acting like she's okay. Her world is carefully constructed to hide the struggle. And the most heartbreaking part is that everyone sees her, but no one really notices. Number 2, the lack of attention from friends and family. The quote-unquote background character effect. Cassie's parents are too distracted by their own lives to notice what she's going through. For Cassie, it probably felt like she was watching her mom and dad have a whole new life with her baby brother where she wasn't wanted or needed. They barely were concerned with the baby as much as they were wrapped up in themselves. So much so that Cassie would take over feeding and caring for the baby. Her friends care, but they don't understand. They laugh off her struggles or simply move on. You see this with Michelle sleepily making fun of Cassie's inability to eat. Sid, despite his kindness, misses every single sign that Cassie likes him and is struggling. I think for Sid, it was a mixture of his crush on Michelle and his looming issue of being indebted to his dealer. With all of that going on, he barely noticed her. Her romanticization of love, the quote-unquote desperate need for a connection, struggle. Cassie believes that love will fix everything, that if someone sees her, she'll be okay. She reads too much into small moments, mistaking kindness for romance. Her crush on Sid, it's less about him and more about wanting to feel special. Not only that, but it felt like another self-destructive behavior, seeking love from someone who is so emotionally unavailable. So what are the real-life takeaways? When someone tells you they're fine, too often it doesn't hurt to check in. People struggling with mental health often become masters at hiding it. It's easy to assume someone is okay because they're smiling. Seeking love to fill an internal void is dangerous. Love doesn't heal unhealed wounds. Self-awareness does. Real-life reflection and the dangers of feeling invisible. Why do people feel unseen? They're overshadowed by louder personalities. They downplay their struggles as to not burden others. Society praises those who seem okay even when they're not. How do we make sure people feel seen? Listen beyond words. Pay attention to body language, patterns, and what's left unsaid. Check in. A simple, "Hey, I noticed you've been quiet. Are you okay?" That can save a life. Make space for people to open up without judgment. I've always been a bit introspective, so when watching this episode as a teen, I saw myself in Cassie's struggles with self-love and looking for my self-worth in others. Cassie's struggles are painfully real. What do you think? Have you ever felt invisible in a room full of people? What do you think of this episode and Cassie's character? Let me know in the comments. What happens when the world decides who you should be before you even get a say? This episode focuses on Zhao Phaser, one of the most underrated yet strongest characters in Skins. While her friends are drowning in chaos, Zhao's battle is quieter but just as heavy. Her episode is about expectations, pressure, and carving out your own identity. Today, let's talk about Zhao, the expectations placed on her, and how she finds her voice through the noise. So the main theme here is the weight of expectations. Zhao's episode highlights the tension between who she is and who everyone expects her to be. She's incredibly talented, but the world around her doesn't truly see her. They only see the role they think she's supposed to fill. Let's break it down into the 3 layers that define Zhao's world. Number 1, the perception versus reality. Number 2, lack of support. And 3, finding her voice. Number 1, perception versus reality. Zhao is disciplined, focused, and insanely gifted at the clarinet. Her father, a famous musician, somewhat appreciates her success, but only on his terms. He dismisses classical music, which she excels in, and he barely acknowledges her. Her school tries to exploit her achievements under the guise of diversity. The headmistress tries to paint a false narrative, crafting talking points about how the school helped her overcome non-existent obstacles just to make herself and the school look good. Number 2, the lack of support, even from her friends and family. Zhao's dad, brothers, and even friends are too wrapped up in their own lives to realize how much pressure she's under. Michelle, one of her closest friends, is so consumed by Tony that she ignores the moments when Zhao really needs her. Zhao's brothers offer help after her clarinet is destroyed, but in true Skins fashion, they're absolutely terrible at it. Watching this episode, I'm realizing how awful these kids are at being friends to each other. Number 3, finding her voice. Zhao isn't one to demand attention, but that doesn't mean she doesn't deserve it. Michelle encourages her to dress up and embrace a new side of herself. Zhao hesitantly goes along with it, but feels uncomfortable with the attention. She struggles to see herself as attractive or worthy of being noticed outside of her achievements. Despite everything, Zhao refuses to let others define her. Her entire episode is about literally and metaphorically finding her voice. By the end of it, Zhao finally confronts her father. She calls him out for avoiding her because she reminds him of her mother. He dismisses her pain, but later she finds a brand new clarinet waiting on her bed. It's not a grand apology, but it's the closest thing to an acknowledgement that he sees her and loves her. By the end of the episode, Zhao also chooses a performance outfit that reflects who she truly is. Still mature, still confident, but on her terms, and she looks stunning. So what are the real-life takeaways? Parents, authority figures, and even friends often see you as an extension of themselves rather than an individual. If no one is listening, sometimes you have to make them hear you. And external validation isn't the path to self-worth. Zhao's story in Skins is for anyone who's ever felt overlooked, pressured, or boxed in. What do you think? Have you ever felt like you had to live up to expectations that didn't align with who you really were? What did you think of this episode, and what do you think of Zhao's character? Let me know in the comments.